Hello students, I welcome you to the first session of Science and Tech of February month. So let us start. We'll have two sessions. This is the first one, right? So first one is Darknet. Now Darknet, it was in the news because India's first Darknet narcotics operative has been held down. Now what is Darknet? So you have to understand this particular diagram first. So this is surface web. For example, we do the Google search, the data which is available in the public domain. So this is surface web, whatever we get it, right? For example, YouTube, you are getting this particular video. This is surface web. Now deep web is, for example, you log into your bank account, online SBI or something. Okay. For example, you log into our online Amrita. So you get the information. So financial record, legal documents, medical documents, subscription based information, Netflix, for example, right? Subscription based Netflix. Then there is dark web. Okay, now this dark web can only be opened with a dark web browsers, and it is encrypted also. So it is used for private communications, illegal information, like this encrypted sites are there. So this is three things. Now dark web, so as we discussed, it is a part of internet which cannot be accessed through traditional search engines like Google and all. Okay, it is encrypted and requires specific browser such as Tor, the onion ring. We'll read about Tor. Okay, so what is the difference between dark web and the deep web? The only difference is the deliberation, right? And accessibility. So deep web is accessible if you login, if you do the login and it is available to you. However, darknet is deliberately hidden, right? Now darknet need not to be always be in a negative sense. Before that, let us discuss Tor, the onion ring. So it was the Tor browser. It was developed in mid 1990s by United States Research Laboratory. So what they wanted to do, they wanted to protect US intelligence communication. It is one of the examples of the darknet, why darknet is not always negative, right? So for example, what it does basically, onion, if you've seen onion, many of the layers are there, right? Similarly, in the darknet, what happens, the communication is in the layer format. Okay, so the traffic from the browser creates several layers. So this is the origination and this is the destination. So it does not go directly from one place to other like in a normal one. Rather, it takes the route of the many of the servers or nodes in between, so that no one, if someone cracks it here itself, no one can trace it back to the source. Getting my point? So a lot of series of servers are involved, so that to maintain the greatest possible anonymity. Okay, right? So the viable use of the darknet, so it can be used by the general citizens which are operating in a repressive regime, for example North Korea, or you can say Iran. So they're operating in an oppressive regime, so they want to convey some information, so this will be used by that. Law enforcement, if they're doing some sting operation, if say some content is blocked by ISP, that can be used, some sensitive communication. However, some concerns are also there with dark web, right? Cryptocurrency, we'll read about cryptocurrency. We have read about cryptocurrency, but we'll discuss one data protection. A recent Supreme Court decided to withheld its ban on cryptocurrency. We'll discuss that. Okay, so cryptocurrency is one of the way which, while cryptocurrency is used, in fact being bitcoins are used for ransom and ransomware, we have read, right? Heaven for illicit activity. So Silk Road is there, one website on which you can find many of the illicit things which are not legal. Anonymity is there, right? Transnational, so tracking is very difficult, just like the problem of the cyber security we face. Then privacy issue, because there are some genuine cases and versus some non-genuine cases. So if the government gets the authorization, so how to differentiate between these two, that which are legal and which are non-legal, illegal ones, right? So these are the issues. We're not discussing that one, but still some, because as the exam has been postponed to 4 months, so some mains flare, right? So Silk Road, just to give an example, so Silk Road was what? It was the online black market. So you can see cocaine and all these things you can get on the Silk Road, anonymous marketplace. So you can give the example of the Silk Road while talking about the many of the topics in our internal security, right? Internal security, black money is the topic, right? We'll come up very shortly with the trend analysis also. So I mean the topic black money is there, right? A terror financing is there. So you can use all these example of the Silk Road in this topic. I tell my students of the mains that one example or one fact and use across the papers, right? And this is how you win actually in exam. With less content you have to cram, but you have to use it in a multi-dimensional way. Right. Next topic is quantum computing. So we're going to discuss in detail about quantum computing. So it was in the news because the government in recent budget has announced the largest ever science mission, that is National Mission on Quantum Technologies and Application. Okay. So they have come up with this mission. So the idea is, it's been a very sketchy one. Obviously, it's a vision. Now the strategic priorities and all things will be decided. So the focus will be on the fundamental research, translation, technology development. So basically in technology there are two things. First is the fundamental science, sorry. Then building upon that science, what we have, this is called translation. This is technology development. And after that, innovation, that is making the commercial use of it. Okay. So this is the 3-stage development, you can say. This technology model can be at the prototype level or something like that. This is at the theoretical level. Okay. So the area of the focus is fundamental research, technology, and towards the addressing the concern using the concerning the national priority. So this is the level where the final use can be done to solve the problem the society or the nation is facing. Okay. So it will prepare the next generation skilled workforce, entrepreneurship, all the basic things. Okay. Basic stuff like that. So it is based, what is quantum computing then? Let us quickly see. So we'll see, first of all see what is quantum computing. We'll see two concepts here on which the quantum computing is based. Then we will see, in between we'll see the difference between quantum computing and the normal computing, classical computing. Okay, right. So quantum computing based upon the idea of the quantum mechanics, quantum level. That is, at the atomic and the subatomic level, the particles start to behave differently. Or the things, when the size shrinks to the very small level, they start behaving differently. They go into the quantum realm. Okay. So their property, behavior of energy and matter, all these things change. Okay. So now in the classical computer, we have bits, right? 0 or 1. But in the quantum computer, we have qubits, quantum bits. Okay. So they represents atom, ion, photon, and electron, and their respective control device. They work as a computer memory and a processor itself. Okay. And the potential of the quantum computing is to be million times more powerful than currently present supercomputers. So you can imagine the speed that they can provide. Okay. So in the classical computing, as I told you, classical computing information is stored in the form of 0 or 1. Okay. Now the qubits can be 0 or 1 or both at the same time, or in between as well, in between 0 and 1 as well. Okay. So it is based upon the two principles, that is superimposition and entanglement. So you have to understand superimposition and entanglement. Okay. So I hope you have read all this, because there's a basic science stuff. I'm just for that purpose I can say it's just a revision sort of thing. So superimposition means, what is superimposition? That means one qubit, each qubit can represent both 0 and 1 simultaneously, right? They give the example of Schrodinger's cat. So Schrodinger's cat is a good example of it. So what is the Schrodinger's cat experiment? So in a closed box, they have a cat and they have put a bottle of poison. Okay. Now what the observation you can see, or what the situation you can assume, either the cat has eaten the poison or she has died, it has died, or it has not eaten the poison. So both the possibilities exist, isn't it? Right. So it can be thought of dead or alive at the same time, similar to probability sort of thing. Or similarly, qubits can also be 0 or 1 at the same time. Secondly, the property of entanglement. Now entanglement property says that, for example, a qubit is representing two things, two states. Now it says that it is correlated, both the states are correlated. So it is representing two states, for example, and both the states are correlated. So change in one will lead to some change in the other. That is, you got the point? So entangle means that qubit with each in a superimposition that can be correlated with each other. It is state of one can depend upon the state of the another. Okay, so quantum entanglement enables the particles to affect each other simultaneously across any distance. Now that is example, if you have seen if you're a fan of Avengers, many of you will be, I hope so. So you have seen, must have heard about the concept of quantum entanglement that happens, right? And with respect to that, they are able to help out in the last Avengers movie as well, right? So so with the help of these two concepts, the qubit acts as a sophisticated switch, right? And thus the computing power of the quantum computers increases exponentially. And this much basic you need to know. Now what are the very details, very integrate things, we don't have to, because it's a journal studies. You just need to have an idea of it, that what is the difference between quantum computing and the classical computing, right? What are these two principles? This is the basic thing that you were expected to know, right? So just like in the classical computers, what happened? They operate 0 or 1, or bits operate independently. They do not have any relation with each other. They represent a state and they stick to it. However, in the quantum state or in the quantum computing, qubits affect each other due to property of quantum entanglement. Okay, right? So what about quantum computing in India? So India does not have any quantum computers yet. Last year in 2018, last year I should say, India has launched a program, Quest. So that was quantum enabled science and technology. Okay. However, nothing much was done, and that is why finally we have dedicated national mission on quantum computing this time. Okay, now something about this budget. We have read this part we have read. Now application will be boosted. Those in aerospace engineering, not very important. That is why I've kept it in the image format. So it will bring India on the list of the few countries which are participating in this frontier technology. Next, related to that, a concept of quantum supremacy. So what is the quantum supremacy? The Google has confirmed it's confirmed as quantum supremacy. So what is this concept? So quantum supremacy is basically, in quantum computing, quantum supremacy is a concept that means that achieving, it's a goal of demonstrating that a programmable quantum device, showing in a very tangible way that that your device, which is based upon the quantum computing, can solve a problem which the classical computer cannot. So classical computer, which cannot solve one problem, the quantum computer can. And this is how you achieve the quantum supremacy. Now this concept itself can be asked. They can ask you, what do you understand by quantum supremacy? Now they can give you very close options as well. So if you remember just this thing, that very easy. So problem which cannot be solved by the classical computer, if it is solved by the quantum computer, it is called as quantum supremacy. Okay. Now one more thing you need to focus. So what is that basically device which has solved that problem which is not being solved by the classical computers? That is 54 qubit Sycamore. So the question can come itself. So what is Sycamore is in the news. What is this? Okay. Right. So it was able to perform a calculation in 200 seconds that would take the world's most powerful computer 10,000 years. Right. So this is the Google's quantum supremacy is only the first taste of the computing revolution. Right. Okay. Next is a related concept, important one, quantum dot. So it's an old, it was not in the current affair. However, it is related to quantum mechanics. That is why we are quantum computing. That is why we are discussing it. So quantum dot is basically a very small material. You can see nanoparticle made of semiconductor materials such as silicon, cadmium, selenide, cadmium, and indium arsenide. What is the extent of the size? You can say 60 million times smaller than the tennis ball, 10,000 times smaller than the narrower than the human hair, or 1 to 5 times width of the strand of the DNA. So very, very small, right? So what is the basically good different property? So if you vary the size of the quantum dot, you can see size 2 nanometer, then 2.5 nanometer. So they're varying the size. And what the result they're finding? If they put the blue light here, they're finding different lights. And this is the quantum dot. Okay. So it displays unique electronic property in, and it is made to emit or absorb a specific wavelength of light by controlling their size. So if they control their size, we can change, we can, if we change the size, we can change the outcome of the light also. Now application of this is found in the your HD TVs and all, LED TVs, HD TVs. So it can make more energy efficient TVs and smart device, unmatched color purity and brilliant colors and all this, right? So it is television, monitors and the laptops, right? In 2016 there was a news that unlikely use of this, like very interesting use of the quantum dots. So a light activated nanoparticle, that is the quantum dots, can kill 90% of the anti-resistance bacteria. Now antibiotic resistance, part of the antimicrobial resistance, right? It's a huge problem. I've discussed throughout our series the superbugs are the next big problem the world gonna face. Now it is said that quantum dot can kill this 90% of the antibiotic resistance bacteria. So how basically they do it? So the very logic they have given, that bacteria works on the redox reactions. Okay, redox reaction is nothing but reduction and oxidation reaction, and this is how they operate. Now when this quantum dot are excited, so they interfere with this redox reaction. So when they interfere with this redox reaction, bacteria cannot perform its normal process. That is, it affects its own intercellular process and disrupt its cell growth. So the cell growth of the bacteria is disrupted and it kills them. Okay, so this is quantum dot, right? Next, last fact of the day, that is Bhaskaracharya Institute of Space Application and Geoinformatics in the Gujarat. So earlier it was under a state authority, was a state agency of the Department of the Science and Technology. Now it has been changed as a, at a central level, autonomous scientific society under the government of India instead of the state government. So transferred from the state government to the national government or union government, right? Under Ministry of METI, and remember it is in the Gujarat. Okay, right? So CMO Gujarat has tweeted about it also, right? So with this we finish our session, very small session we had. So started with the darknet. We discussed about darknet, surface web versus the deep web, right? Then we discussed versus the dark web. Then we discussed about TOR, right? Then Silk Road Marketplace, very good example you can use across the papers. Then quantum computing we discussed, right? We discussed the idea of the that mission has been announced, but if the question will be asked, it will be more or less on a theoretical level, right? So we discussed about two things, that is quantum entanglement and superimposition and entanglement. This question can be asked in the mains as well, right? In the main exam, not mains exam. Then quantum supremacy, we discussed that Google has achieved quantum supremacy. What is the concept of quantum supremacy? You need to remember that. Then quantum dot we discussed, and the potential use of the quantum dot, both in the TV and in the as an antibiotic resistance, killing those antibiotic resistance. And finally we ended with the this Bhaskaracharya Institute of Space Application and the Geoinformatics, Gujarat, right? So with this we finish our science and technology session 1, sorry, not session 2, session 1, right? Okay then. And just to remind you that 4 October, just to not remind you, you all must be knowing. So in between we'll be coming up with some mains initiative as well, very quickly it can. So first we'll have some trend analysis of the previous year, because we can devote at least 50 days or 60 days to the mains exam also. I'll suggest the students, those who are seeking some advice, that just one second, those who are weak in CSAT, okay, they should weekly at least do one paper, and every student should do at least one prelim mock paper weekly, right? So every week you should not leave this, so that you should always be in the loop with respect to prelims, because ultimately you should not lose your momentum. Secondly, those are fine with this, then they should devote at least 50% of their time for their optional. If their optional is ready, then they can devote their time to ethics. Those are the static portion I'm saying, right? Static portion in your main as well, in GS 1, 2, 3, whatever the static, apart from the 1 and 2, 3, also many of the static topics are there. For example, financial inclusion, inclusive growth, SHG, NGO. So you can prepare that, definitions, recent examples, initiative taken, and all these things, right? And You can send us your mains evaluated answer also. You can comment, you can put in the comment box. We'll help you out with the evaluation also. Right, then see you in the next class. Bye bye for now.